Good evening, fifth graders. Tonight we're going to be working with area of a rectangle. That's the amount of space inside a closed figure. So let's take a look at some practice problems here. So area is a measure of the surface inside of a closed boundary, okay? Kids always get perimeter and area mixed up, okay? I always use this example. Mrs. Green wanted me to go to Menards. She said, please get enough fencing for our backyard. Now, if I were to get the dimensions of my yard and find the area, and I go to Menards and I got so much fencing that I had enough to fill the inside of my yard, I would have way too much fencing. I'd come back, Mrs. Green would look at me with a strange face and be like, don't you teach your kids perimeter and area? And I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Green. So, yeah, so in the future here, when you're going here, just remember area is the amount of space inside, perimeter is the outside. But today we're working with area, so we need to do a lot of multiplying, which is excellent, okay? 1 foot by 1 foot. That means the inside of this shape would be 1 foot squared. All we're doing is the area of the base times the height. Height, base, okay? Let's keep going. Area of the base times the height. So our base is 2. Our height is 2 equals 4. What's my unit? Inches. Now, the amount of space inside of something, you always have to have inches squared. 4 square inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's keep cruising here. What's the area of the base here? I don't have a base written down here. So if there's no base written down here, kids, just take a look at the top. Is it the same length as here and here? It is. So 4 is my base. My height is 4, which is 16. My unit is centimeters. Centimeters squared when dealing with the area. Take a look here. My base is 4. My height is 2. 4 times 2 is 8 inches squared. Take a look here. Three is my base times 10 equals 30 yards squared. It is very important to put the squared mark on there. Take a look at this shape. It's shaped like an L. I'm going to use a different color here to help you out. There's a couple of different ways to do this. I'm going to separate this into 2 different rectangles or 2 different shapes. If I go ahead and just take a scissors here and just cut this off, I have one rectangle right here, right? This is how I want you to look at it. I have one rectangle. The dimensions of that rectangle are 2 times 7, which equals 14. Then I have this shape down here. I have a 2. What is the length of this side right here? Well, let's see. The length of this side and this side together, it's the same as 7, right? But I have a 5 here. 5 takes up a good chunk of that. So that means what I have left here would be a 2, because 5 plus 2 is 7. You see how we're doing that, kids? So then the next part I have to do is I have to multiply our 2 times 2, which gives me 4. That means I have this taken care of. I have this taken care of. So when I add these up, I get an 18. What's my unit? Inches squared. I like those problems. They're kind of fun. Once again, I have another challenging problem here. We should see how to figure this one out, okay? First of all, let's see. How do we want to break this one apart? We have 12 here on the side. So this whole length is a 12, okay? Right here we have an 8. So that means this whole length is an 8. Okay. What else can we do to break this apart? If this right here is 4, this length right here is 4, and this length right here is 4, that means this little chunk right here is a 4, right? Okay. I think I know how to break this apart. I would take this little chunk off right here, because we know this one is 4 times 4. So I would write this on my scratch paper. Don't keep things mentally in your head. So 4 times 4 is gone. This part of the shape is gone. Okay. Now I have an 8 up here. Let's figure out what is each one of those squares worth. Well, if this right here is a 4 on the side, that means the square here is a 2 and the square right here is a 2. So that means this right here must be 2 feet. So with that being said, kids, this rectangle right here would be 4, or I mean, I apologize, 8 times 2, which would be another 16. Now, what do I have left here? I've got this rectangle here in the middle. I'm going to have to write the dimensions. I have 2 squares. Each square is worth 2, right? So this part right here is worth a 4. And then how many squares do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So then I'm going to go 4 times 10 equals 40. Now there's a variety of different ways you could have split this one apart. Obviously, right, kids? You could have also done this. Let's take a look. If each box is worth a 2, and this is worth 12 here, I could have split this apart like this and just gone 12 times 2, which gives me 24. This right here would have been a 4 times 2. And then this right here would have been a 4 times 4. Okay. The reason why I solved it 2 different ways is I want to see if we get the same answer. So let's go ahead and add these up. I have 6 plus 6 plus 0 gives me 12. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, plus 4 is 72. I'm going to rewrite this problem over here on the side so it's a little neater. 10s, 18, 48. Let's take a look here. I got 48 for one problem, 72 for another. Where is the mistake at? I don't have the correct answer. Let's see. Let's double check our work. This is one thing I want you to do. So when you solve it 2 different ways and then all of a sudden you pop your hand up, this is what I want you to look at. Where did I make the mistake? Let's take a look at my work here. 4 times 2 gives me right here. This part is right. 4 times 4, that one's right. This 12 times 2, what did I do here? 12 times 2. I counted this as a 2. Really, this should have been 2 and a 2, which is a 4. This should have been 12 times 4. Right, kids? So if I did 12 times 4, that would give me a completely different answer, wouldn't it? It would give me a plus 24 on top of that. It would have been a 48. Now, if all of a sudden, if I change this to a 48, and I add these up, 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 6 is 22, plus 72. There's your answer. I wanted to work this out because I wanted you to be able to problem solve, to be able to see, oh, where did Mr. Green make a mistake? How did this go? Perfect, let's keep on cruising. Take a look at here. We have rectangle D, base height. So I have a base of 1, 2, 3. Base is 3, height is 2. My area is a 6. What's my unit? Inches squared. Let's take a look here at E. This one's a little trickier now, okay? My base is 1, 2, 2.5. My height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. You see how they're half? What is my area? 11.25. Let's keep going. My base is a 4. Base is 4. My area is 24. What number times 4 gives me 24? Another way to do this is 24 divided by 4. 0, 0. I was in there 6 times. 6 is my height. All right, so I have to build rectangle D. My base is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My area is 20, so I'm going to have to go ahead and go 20 divided by 5 gives me 4. So that means my height is 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and close up this shape. I get a 20, so I have a 4, and I have a 5. Let's look at the next one. My height is a 3. My area is 12, so I'm going to have to go 12 divided by 3, which gives me 4. So I'm going up or over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. Here's my shape. I have a 3, and I have a 4. 4 inches. Let's look at some practice here. What is the area of rectangle A? Well, I have a base of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 2 times 5 is 10 centimeters squared. Here's another one. So I have 8, 160. So I'm going to have to go 160 because that's my final number divided by 8. 8 goes into 1, 0 times. Subtract 1, bring down the 6. 8 goes into 16 2 times. 8 goes into 0, 0 times. 8 times 0, 0, subtract 0. 20 is my answer. Does that make sense? 8 times 2 is 16 plus a 0 is 20. All right, hopefully that helped a little bit. Hopefully you were able to notice that one problem where I came up with 2 different solutions, and you will notice that tomorrow when you check your work when you're working with those rectangles, kids. And you might make when you're multiplying, you might multiply or you might count incorrectly. So I want you to try it 2 different ways when you're finding out those irregular shapes. All right, kids? Hopefully that helped. I look forward to working with finding the areas of rectangles with you tomorrow.